You choose something, a goal, a direction, a version of your future, and for a few days, maybe weeks, it feels right. Then something shifts. Doubt creeps in. Another option looks better. Your mind whispers, "What if this isn't it?" So you pivot. Again. And quietly, you start asking yourself, why can't I just stay on one path? At first, it feels like curiosity. You tell yourself you're exploring, but over time, it becomes a pattern. You start projects with intensity. You research deeply. You imagine the future vividly. Then something subtle happens. The excitement fades, the friction appears, the uncertainty grows louder. And instead of pushing through, you begin scanning. Other careers, other cities, other identities. It's not laziness. You work hard. It's not a lack of intelligence. You think constantly. It's something else. You feel restless with your own decisions. This pattern starts shaping your identity. I'm inconsistent. I can't commit. I always change my mind. And that self-concept affects relationships. You hesitate to promise. You delay long-term plans. You keep emotional exits open. Because what if you choose wrong? In personality psychology, this connects to high openness and high sensitivity to uncertainty. But it also connects to something deeper. Your brain struggles more with commitment under ambiguity than you realize, and the discomfort of ambiguity triggers something powerful. But what exactly is your brain trying to avoid? You are not broken. You are not incapable of discipline. You are responding to uncertainty the way your nervous system was designed to. The human brain evolved in environments where wrong decisions could mean real danger. Choosing the wrong path wasn't just inefficient, it was risky. So your brain developed a bias toward keeping options open. Behavioral economists call this loss aversion. We feel the pain of potential loss more strongly than the pleasure of potential gain. Committing to one path means closing others, and closing others feels like a loss. So when you hesitate, when you pivot, when you start over again, your brain may not be chasing novelty, it may be trying to reduce perceived loss. But there's another mechanism underneath this, and it explains why clarity feels good at first and heavy later. 4. Psychological mechanism. Imagine your brain as a prediction machine. Its primary job is not happiness, it's prediction. The prefrontal cortex plans. The anterior cingulate cortex monitors conflict. The amygdala scans for threat. When you choose a path, your brain builds a model of the future. At first, that model is clean, optimistic. Dopamine rises because the future looks rewarding. But as reality introduces uncertainty, your prediction error increases. Prediction error is the gap between what you expected and what is happening, and your brain does not like large gaps. Here's the mental model. Your mind is like a GPS recalculating every time the road curves. If the map feels unclear, it doesn't relax. It searches for a better route. Now add something else. When you commit to one identity, I am becoming this, your self-concept tightens. Psychologists call this identity foreclosure when commitment happens before exploration feels complete. If the brain senses that you committed before you fully explored, it creates internal tension. That tension feels like restlessness, second-guessing, mental scanning. And scanning releases small bursts of dopamine. Novel options stimulate the reward system, so shifting directions temporarily reduces anxiety, but only temporarily, because each switch resets progress, and your brain detects unfinished loops again. This creates a cycle: uncertainty to anxiety, to scan for alternatives, to temporary relief, to reset, to more uncertainty. You don't lack discipline. Your nervous system is overreacting to ambiguity. But how do you stay steady without suppressing your curiosity? That's where strategy matters. 5. Practical framework. This is not about forcing yourself to commit. It's about working with your brain's mechanisms. 1. Separate exploration from execution. What to do? Create two distinct phases, one for exploration, one for execution. Do not mix them. Set a defined exploration window, for example, 30 days of research. After that, switch to 90 days of execution without reevaluating. Why it works? The brain struggles when exploration and commitment compete simultaneously. By separating them, you reduce conflict signals in the anterior cingulate cortex. Less conflict, less internal tension. Example. Instead of questioning your career choice every week, you allow 30 days to explore fully. Then you commit to acting for 3 months before reconsidering. No mid-cycle scanning. 2. Limit option visibility. What to do? Temporarily remove exposure to alternative paths. Unfollow accounts. Stop researching new directions. Why it works? Every visible option activates comparison circuits in the brain. More options increase cognitive load and decision fatigue. Research shows that too many choices reduce satisfaction and increase paralysis. Reducing stimuli lowers dopamine spikes tied to novelty. Example, if you're building a business, stop consuming daily content about completely different industries. Your brain cannot stabilize while constantly comparing. 3. Use time-based commitment, not identity-based commitment. What to do? Commit to a time frame, not to becoming a permanent identity. Instead of, "This is who I am forever," say, "I am choosing this path for the next 6 months." Why it works? Long-term identity commitment triggers loss aversion. Time-based framing reduces perceived permanent loss. The amygdala calms when the brain knows reevaluation is allowed later. Example, you don't declare, "I will always be in this field." You say, "For 6 months, I will go all in." It feels lighter, because it is. 4. Track process, not emotion. What to do? Measure effort consistency, not how motivated you feel. Daily actions, hours practiced, tasks completed. Why it works? Motivation fluctuates due to dopamine variability, but habit circuits in the basal ganglia respond to repetition. Tracking visible progress strengthens reward prediction. Your brain begins associating staying with progress. Example, instead of asking, "Do I still feel excited about this?" you ask, "Did I show up today?" Emotion becomes secondary, behavior becomes primary. 5. Practice decision closure rituals. What to do? When choosing a path, write a short closure statement. I am choosing this direction for now. Other paths are not rejected, just postponed. Then physically close the notebook. Why it works? The brain seeks completion signals. Ritualized closure reduces open-loop rumination. This lowers cognitive tension linked to the Zeigarnik effect. Example, after deciding on a project, you write your commitment and close the page. Your mind registers decision made. Scanning decreases. 6. Integration. Here's the simple mental model. Your mind is not unstable, it is a high-sensitivity radar. It constantly scans for better routes. That radar is useful, but if it never switches to landing mode, no plane ever touches the ground. Exploration is radar. Execution is landing. You need both, but not at the same time. When you reduce option noise, define timeframes, and separate phases, your nervous system stops interpreting commitment as danger, and steadiness stops feeling like imprisonment. It starts feeling like focus. 7. Quietly empowering close. If you can't stick to one path, maybe it's because your mind fears closing doors. But doors are not destroyed when closed. They are simply not entered right now. You don't need to silence your curiosity. You just need to contain it. And when exploration has boundaries, commitment feels less like loss and more like a choice. So the next time doubt appears, don't ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask, "Is this uncertainty
or just my radar scanning again. You don't need a new path. You may just need to land.